Right guys, it is Finn here, and in today's video I'll be giving you 3 players that Liverpool could sign in order for them to not just recover from this season, but they might actually give Liverpool a chance of competing for the treble next season. Now of course, as the season is coming to an end, it is by no means a secret that Liverpool have not had a very successful season overall. So far this season they are currently 6th place on the Premier League table and likely to qualify for Champions League, knocked out of the Champions League by Real Madrid, knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Arsenal, and knocked out of the FA Cup by Manchester United. Not a very good season overall for Liverpool, and they are going to want to bounce back next season and win trophies next season. And in order for them to do that, they are going to need to make some big changes, and that is why I've come up with 3 players that Liverpool could sign in order for them to improve the quality of team overall. But in order for me to look at the 3 players that Liverpool should sign, I'm going to have to look at what are the problems with Liverpool this season. And in order for me to do that, I've asked a few other YouTubers.
Hello Finn, Douglas from the Dugout Football channel, giving you an insight to Liverpool's bad season. What's gone wrong? Everything possible.
Has been absolutely shocking in my opinion, one of the worst defences of the Premier League in recent times.
I'm not going to just blame it on injury. We should do much better.
Injuries, bad results.
Lost Virgil van Dijk for the full season. Lost Joe Gomez for the full season.
The goals have really dried up as well. A lot of things.
And yes, you would have expected them to struggle with the loss of Van Dijk, but Salah, Firmino and Mane not putting the ball in the back of the net enough.
We get a lot of chance to win a lot of games, but just haven't been good, haven't been ourselves this year.
And just overall a really tough season for Liverpool.
It's been a disastrous season.
Right guys, so in order for me to make the 3 transfer suggestions that Liverpool should make in order for them to compete for the treble next season, or to at least improve off of this season, I'm going to have to take 2 points from what everyone said in that video. First of all, injuries have been a huge problem this season. Second of all, bad performances throughout from defense to attack, and I will admit this, I think bad performances come down to predictability from this Liverpool squad, because when this team is fully fit, it is almost guaranteed to look like this 95% of the time. The exact same back 4, exact same 3 midfielders, and definitely the exact same 3 attackers, and they always play the exact same style of play with our very high defensive line. Robertson and Trent Alexander always play in attacking areas with crosses into the box. Firmino moves into a creative midfield position, while Mane and Salah move into the box in order for them to receive balls from the fullbacks, while the midfield keeps a very traditional diamond shape in order for them to do a slow build-up play when it comes to attack and defense. Now look, this is a great style of play, but unfortunately Liverpool always do it, and it's become very predictable to read for opposition. Now obviously with injuries this season, they do the exact same thing just with a lower quality team. Obviously instead of Van Dijk and Gomez in defense, they do have Kovac and Fabinho, still very good defenders, but unfortunately this Liverpool team is very one-sided, and that would change by having more quality depth in this team from defense to attack. And as I said, defensively this season Liverpool have not been great, which is why the first transfer I'll make is going to be a defender. Transfer number 1 I have for you guys is going to be 24-year-old Switzerland centre-back Nico Alvedi from Borussia Mönchengladbach, a centre-back who is known for his ability to pass out the back. He is a great header of the ball, and he is known for his incredible reaction time. Now I'm very aware that Liverpool have some great centre-back options, but they are currently looking for a new one, because at the end of the day, although it is very unlikely that next season Liverpool will lose Virgil van Dijk, Joe Gomez and Joel Matip once again for the entire season, it is always nice to have that quality in the depth of your squad. I'm not saying that Alvedi needs to play every single week alongside with Virgil van Dijk in the starting lineup, but you need that quality of depth in your team. That's why Manchester City do so well defensively, because they've got the likes of Laporte, Nathan Ake, Ruben Diaz and John Stones. If you want to be a top side, you need that depth in your squad, and at the end of the day, Alvedi is a very accomplished centre-back. Although very young, he's got a lot of experience, and he's got a lot of experience with his national team, Switzerland, and at the moment, Borussia Mönchengladbach are 7th place on the Bundesliga table. They're not going to win any trophies anytime soon, and I think Alvedi is very likely to move to a club like Liverpool. And at the end of the day, although Virgil van Dijk and Joel Matip still have many years ahead of them, they are approaching 30 years old, so it is always nice to get a fresh pair of legs on the pitch. A young centre-back with lots of experience. I think Alvedi could add a lot of depth to this Liverpool squad, and at an estimated worth of about 32 million euros, he might just be worth it. Transfer number 2 is going to be a central attacking midfielder in the likes of Dani Olmo, a player who has been on fire so far this season, only 22 years old. The Spanish centre-back has had 4 goals and 10 assists in the Bundesliga for RB Leipzig. Now, I've put the likes of Dani Olmo in this list because although Liverpool have some great creative players in the fullback positions and in the winger positions, unfortunately their midfield area lacks, especially since there are talks about Wijnaldum leaving at the end of the season as his contract is expiring. The midfielders they have left include the likes of Fabinho, Thiago, Henderson, and midfielders like that, who, yes, are very good on the ball and create beautiful bits of play and can string passes together. They are not known for their creative abilities in terms of creating chances directly. And Dani Olmo this season, the young Spanish midfielder, has done just that for RB Leipzig, and I think will be the perfect creative outlet for Liverpool. Dani Olmo also adds a lot of variety to this Liverpool squad and their formation because they can either play more of an attacking 4-3-3 formation where he plays as an attacking midfield centrally, or he could play in a 4-4-1-1 formation where he plays directly behind a striker. At the end of the day, Dani Olmo is a fantastic up-and-coming attacking midfielder and would add a lot to this Liverpool squad. And at the end of the day, RB Leipzig have quite a few attacking midfield options, and although Dani Olmo is doing very, very well for them, I don't think that they'll hold on to him too tightly, with his estimated worth being around 38 million euros. Not the cheapest player around, but for his creative outlets to be added to this Liverpool squad and limit the amount of predictability in their style of play, I think he might just be worth it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, takes us to player suggestion number 3 that Liverpool should make in order for them to be title contenders this season. Now, of course, before I get into who player number 3 is, I do want to tell you guys that this video did take quite a lot of research and editing, so please do consider subscribing down below to catch more of my content in the future if you have not subscribed already, along with hitting the like button down below. Can we please get this video to 15 likes? It does help the channel out quite a lot. But player number 3, you all know who it is. He's on the thumbnail. It is going to be Memphis Depay, because the 27-year-old striker would add the most versatility to this Liverpool squad. Now, as I mentioned early on in the video, and the reason why I mentioned it is the reason Liverpool have not been doing that well this season, in my opinion, is predictability. They play the same team every single time. They set up the exact same way every single time. And by signing these 3 players, Alvedi, Olmo, and Memphis Depay, that changes this Liverpool team completely. And I feel like Memphis Depay is the biggest missing puzzle piece out of all of them, because he can play as a left wing, right wing striker, centre forward, centre attacking midfielder, anywhere on the attacking front for this Liverpool team, and that would add so much versatility to this Liverpool squad. And at the end of the day, Memphis Depay is a natural born finisher. Now, I would say in terms of Liverpool so far this season, maybe their only redeeming factor is Mo Salah up front, being one of the Premier League top scorers. But at the end of the day, I'm not even sure if he's a natural born finisher. He scores a certain type of goal, where if you do get Memphis Depay who creates those chances to score, where Mo Salah, he'll see a top corner and he'll shoot for that. Memphis Depay creates the chances for him to score. I feel like Memphis Depay is a fantastic player overall, former Manchester United player. So whether this move is likely, I'm not too sure, but I'm sure he'll want to move back to the Premier League. So far in League 1 this season with Lyon, 18 goals and 9 assists. He is on fire. As I said, a natural born finisher would add a lot to this Liverpool squad, because looking at them in terms of a striker at the moment, they do play Bobby Firmino. And although Firmino is more of a false 9, he plays in more of an attacking midfield position, I do feel like Liverpool need an up-and-up target man, a front man, a talisman in the striker position. And I do feel like Depay will have that over Firmino, because although Firmino can be excellent on his day, he can also be extremely quiet. And in terms of Mane in the left wing position, Memphis Depay can also play there, and him having that ability really does add so much to this Liverpool front 3 in the way that they could set up. But you know what, Mane, an excellent player still, 20 direct goal contributions and 43 appearances across all competitions this season. Not bad, but even he has his bad days, so it would be nice to have a fresh pair of legs like Memphis Depay up front. As I said, I feel like he would be the biggest missing piece. Obviously the most expensive out of all these 3 players, with an estimate worth of at least 45 million euros. But guys, once again, I think he's a player who could be completely worth it. And at the end of the day, if Liverpool wanted to get these 3 players, they would need some financial backing. Whether they'll get that or not, I'm not 100% sure about. But to be honest, there are some big players at Liverpool, probably 3, 4 or 5 of them, that Liverpool could afford to sell in order for them to get these players. And guys, those will be the 3 transfer suggestions that I would recommend Liverpool make if they want to win the treble next season. Now, when I'm talking about the treble, I mean, first of all, the Premier League, because look, obviously Manchester City ran away with the Premier League so far this season, but with no Champions League football being likely for Liverpool next season, it means they can focus their strong team on the Premier League, because don't forget, Liverpool won the Premier League last season. Season before that, they won the Champions League and Super Cup. This is the same Liverpool team. If they play the strongest team, they still have that ability. Obviously, if I add these 3 players, it adds a lot of squad depth to Liverpool. They could compete for the Europa League easily, along with maybe the FA Cup. As I said, squad depth can be the most valuable thing in football, and I feel like the 3 players I've added might just do that. And guys, I've put up on screen, that is what Liverpool's team currently looks like, and this is what it could look like with the 3 players I've added. As I said, you don't necessarily have to start Alvedi, you can play Gomez, but having that depth in that specific position can be very, very nice. But guys, as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, Liverpool have a specific way of playing, but by adding these players, it changes the way Liverpool can play, and it's much trickier to predict how they're going to set up for the opposition. It's much harder to read, obviously, and I feel like this is exactly what Liverpool need to do. But guys, this has been my video on what I think Liverpool can do, the signings that they can make. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. But guys, this has been Finn, FYNN. Have a good one. Cheers.